Hello, 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 everyone! Welcome to Yo, You Like That? I am your host, the lovable Ham Zarataro here, and on this show we bring guests, we bring VTubers, streamers, content creators, we bring people of all internet aspects on to talk about something they love, something they enjoy, something that is awesome. And guess what? You may not know about it, and you need that awesome put into your life. You need it. It is a rule. It is the law of this land. This little forest setup I have here. The one law. Second law is remember the first law. All right, let's go ahead and bring in our guests. We have the super sonic cool Zonic. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Or is it Zach&Zonic? Zonic Zach? Do you have a preference? I forgot to ask.
As I look now, I would go by Zonic. My new branding is that I go by Zach&Zonic, so I've got like another alternative where I've got my human model. But typically, yeah, I go by the name Zonic. It
Okay.
kind of got stuck on me at a very early point, and I've just kind of had to live with it.
Dude, I know the feeling. It's like, oh yeah, this was my online name, like back when I was in like college, and then it just kind of like, well, can't change it now.
I think I've had it.
All the emails are made.
Yeah, I think I've had it since like 2009, and I'm just like, eventually I should change that. And everybody just got so used to calling me that. I'm like, all right, it's just a part of me now. I'm gonna teach people that just because you have this name doesn't mean you're bad.
Do you ever get like identity crisis, like having like so many different like multiple names and personas and aliases?
Not too much, honestly. I had only changed my username to like Zach&Zonic last year, and like Zach being my actual name, I've lived with that my whole life. So people who call me Zonic,
gotcha.
I'm used to that. But then everybody who's called me Zach, I mean that feels natural, yeah.
Gotcha.
Are
Okay.
you a zone cop? Let me think about that. No.
Oh man. Good day. Good days. Good
There'd be a
days.
difference between me and the zone cop. I'm relevant. I'm just.
I still exist in this dimension.
I'm still here. That's funny.
Oh man. But that is topical because we are bringing in your favorite game to talk about today. Let's go. Sonic Adventure
Hey.
Uno. Now, bring it down for us. Sonic. We all know what a Sonic is. He's cool. He's blue. He's got attitude. What is a Sonic Adventure?
So Sonic Adventure was like, it was obviously the opening point for a 3D Sonic game. It was new. And
Now, I don't know what you're talking about. I clearly remember 3D Blast being on the same.
okay, yeah.
I'm
So
sorry. I'm sorry.
They did have 3D Blast. I'm going to state that Sonic Adventure was the true first like big 3D Sonic game. They had Sonic 3D Blast, which was a technical 3D attempt, even though it's a little. It depends on your definition of 3D. But then they also had.
It's a mess.
Yeah,
it's a mess I love so much.
Then they had the 3D Blast special stages plus Sonic Jam that had like a little open world hub. If you push that to the side, or Sonic R, I think Sonic R is also in there. If you push all of that to the side, the first 3D full-on Sonic game that was in 3D was Sonic Adventure.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take a stab at something. A lot of people have thrown out that joke of the, Sonic's had a rough transition to 3D and whatnot.
What? I've never heard that
You've
before.
never heard of that?
Ever. Never, ever.
Oh, wow.
What?
Yeah, let me tell you about
Man,
it.
that seems like such a hot take.
Yeah, it's a huge hot take. I highly disagree.
Actually, I think I've said that line every time someone talks about Sonic, either on one of my streams or the talk show.
Yeah, it's kind of part of the.
It's a meme in of itself now. It's like the Final Fantasy free trial line. It's like,
exactly. But yeah, I mean, like it was the first shot at a like full on 3D Sonic game, and people like to like say like, oh, the glitches and the especially like the lip sync and whatnot. People like to like make fun of that, but when you really think about it, like it was a really decent shot at like a full on 3D Sonic game. Like Sonic has his like momentum. There's 6 playable characters. Say what you will about Big the Cat. But
fishing! We had to show off fishing for the Dreamcast.
Fishing. You got what was that? Sega Bass Fishing. So like they kind of
Heck yeah.
the big as like a form of the gameplay.
One of the 4 pillars of Sega at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Samba de Amigo, Shenmue, Sega Bass Fishing, and Sonic.
Oh yeah. You had to get the little the fishing rod. What was it? Controller.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. But yeah, like let's see. Yeah. So another thing, it was the first Sonic game to really have like for an adventure title, I'm not trying to make a pun, but like, you know, Sonic 1, 2, CD, 3, Knuckles, whatnot, you would just go from level to level. Sonic Adventure actually has like I don't want to say an open world, but it's got like open landscapes and, you know, places you can explore. Obviously games that came before it, like your Super Mario 64s and whatnot, they kind of had that too. But Sonic, you know, being a fast character, they always have to make the levels bigger so that the way they can last longer, because, you know, you blast through a level so fast. So like you have landscapes that you run through and you can explore. There's like little things you can collect, like emblems, and they had like day, night, and what was it, sunset. And it was just like, you know, Mario 64 didn't really have that. You know, for the record, everybody, I love Mario 64. Another topic for another day.
Yeah, I mean, no one's gonna say Mario 64 is a bad game.
Right.
I mean, you pretty much can't.
Yeah, it is a product of its time, but it was so important and it was so good.
When you compare the fact that Bubsy 3D and Mario came out like in like the same year,
yeah.
that you can tell that there was a direction that one did right and one did not.
If you own a copy of Bubsy 3D and you read the back of it, they take a shot, I believe, at Mario, and it's just like that.
I wouldn't be surprised. That sounds like Bubsy.
Not age well. But yeah, like a little bit of a side note, the music change of Sonic Adventure, like one of the big aspects of what made Sonic Adventure the game it was that it was like the first Sonic game to introduce like full on, like, you know, guitar riffs, lyrics. Like it was a different change for Sonic. He was just so used to like the little you know.
Yeah,
music,
the rise of Crush 40.
Crush 40. I love Crush 40.
I love it when any kind of like guy that's like working on the game says, "Hey, I've got a band. I want to do stuff."
Yeah.
And then Daisuke Ishwatara makes Guilty Gear.
Yeah. Crush 40, especially like with the open your heart song and whatnot. I just remember being like incredibly young when I had gotten the game. That was such an impressionable song on me, because it was like kind of my introduction to like your rock and roll kind of music and, you know, lyrics in general. And I've actually had the pleasure to attend, I believe, 2 concerts of Crush 40, and
Nice.
it's completely different when you're actually there in person. But it's
I bet.
so good, and I love their music till this day. But Sonic Adventure, for at least, you know, Crush 40 jumping in, it was their first, you know, take out a Sonic song and other music, along with some other people who made different songs. I know the guy who sings the Knuckles song, that's a different guy, and I'm sure the person who does Amy's song, that's a different person. But like a lot of Crush 40 is in Sonic Adventure. I feel like that also makes the game. This Sonic music is so like, I know they always like to say like, oh, Sonic music always makes the game, even if the game isn't great. The music's good most of the time, yes, but like it's such an important aspect of Sonic Adventure, so I feel like that also makes it that, like, it makes it.
No, I agree. I think Sonic Adventure basically kind of like did bring Sonic into like a new era of what the games were going to be from then on, and changed the way like a lot of people thought about platformers at the time.
Yeah, definitely.
I love the hub. So
yeah.
I'll just go ahead and say mine, and then I'll ask you. I didn't play Adventure till after Adventure 2, so I got to experience the stage layout, but I never really got to experience like the hub and the exploring and all the fun stuff like that, because I didn't get to play them until like the GameCube.
Yeah.
Which did you play first?
So I actually grew up with the Dreamcast game.
Oh, so you played OG.
Yeah,
OG.
I was fairly young when I got it. I think I was like 4 on the cusp of 5. It's like some of my very early memories. But yeah, I ended up getting a Dreamcast copy. And like later down the road, I don't know why. Maybe it's because like I never really like delved into like the internet or like tons of information on games. But like at some point, I remember walking in a Blockbuster, and sometimes they had games you could just buy instead of rent. You could just buy whatever's used there.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing Sonic Adventure DX, and I was like, "Whoa, it's that game, but it's so much cooler looking." And it's kind of funny because like even though it does improve a few things, and I'm just throwing it out to everybody. I feel like the Dreamcast game had the better textures and some better aspects of it graphically. I think they hold up better even though they're older, whereas the Dreamcast version, it looked HD cool, but I feel like it, like, the upgrade has aged worse now. And I'm not saying it's bad, because I like Sonic Adventure through and through. I love Sonic Adventure DX, but I feel like a lot of people who will like mod the PC version of Sonic Adventure DX nowadays, they will mod it and be like, all right, now give me the Dreamcast look, because that's what I do. I love doing that personally, but maybe I'm a little biased.
A lot of people don't like the plastic shiny.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can understand.
I like it. I just prefer the other one. For sure.
Okay, so wow, yeah, you played on the original Dreamcast. Did you have the VMU for the Chow Racing?
So I want to say we had the VMU, but I was never one of those people, like, even till this day, I never really like had the Chow data on there and like took it out and like played with it. I never really did
Oh,
that,
okay.
if I'm being honest.
That's fine.
It wasn't like a huge aspect for me. I'm there for like the main course going on. But like the little animations on the VMU back then, like that was so cool. Like even if you were like playing like a specific story, it would show up like, you know, there'll be like little pixels of big on there if you're playing big story, or if you're playing as like whatever character, it'd pop up, and it was so cool.
Yeah. No, it's definitely like a fun ass time, like
Yeah.
without doubt.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. So, when it comes to the game, what are some of your favorite aspects about it?
Favorite aspects about it. Let's see. So I was kind of talking about this earlier, but one of my favorite aspects is the momentum that specifically the momentum Sonic gives. In this day and age, we have a lot of the boost formula. You know, you press like the certain action button, and Sonic, you know, goes faster. But when Sonic Adventure came out, you know, you would press the action button, and you could like slightly tap it, and you know, give him a little spin. You could like hold it and make him go faster, or if you know how to tap it just at the right timing, you know, he would go even like super fast with the spin dash. So they kept the spin dash, and he had like an awesome momentum to him. I love the momentum of Sonic Adventure. It's in Sonic Adventure 2 as well, but they kind of like cap it a little bit. And I think that's to like make it more like locked in place, like to be a bit more safe. Whereas with Sonic Adventure, it's very like loose, and I
Yeah.
kind of like it for being that way. So I do like the momentum aspect. Let's see, what else do I other aspects? I will say, so kind of talking about like what we were talking about earlier. You know, some people make fun of like the glitches and you know, and all that kind of such. But I'm going. Let me think. I had this thought in my brain earlier. It's one of those games like I don't want to say like you have to get good at it to get by some of the glitches or the BS, because the game through and through will have glitches and have like you'll fall and slip through things like, oh no. But like if you get used to the game and you get good at the game, it's not that bad. Like it's I don't know, I'm kind of the same way. I hate going back to this, but because it's not the topic, but Mario 64, the game has its fair share of BS, but I still love it because if you get good at it, it's got a charm to you. Like even if it glitches, there's like charm to it. It's primitive, it's of its time. It's once again, it's the like big start of 3D gaming, and I think for what it's worth, like it knocks it out of the park. I already talked about the music. Music's awesome. Once again, the 6 playable characters. So this is something I wanted to talk about. Out of the 6 playable characters, notoriously Big the Cat is kind of thrown underneath the bus for having fishing mechanics and whatnot. I'm also going to kind of delve into this card a bit. If you get decent or good at Big the Cat's story, it's actually like the most short story of the entire game. And it's
Yeah,
not
you
even,
knock it
yeah,
out,
it's
like,
not
pretty
even
fast.
that bad. Let me tell you, as a kid, I could beat like everyone else's story, but I couldn't beat Big Story when I was young. I didn't beat the whole game until like maybe I was like 12. But when I played Big the Cat, you know, as a kid, I was like, I don't get this. But then at some point I did, and when I got good at it, I was just like, oh, you know, if I hate saying that, but like if you get good at it, it's really like the most side dish part of the game. It's incredibly a short piece of the game. But
Yeah, Gamma's feels like twice as long in
yeah,
comparison.
Gamma's is I believe about twice as long. But yeah, out of the 6, it's like, you know, you got Sonic, he's got like the beefiest story. Obviously, you got to give the main character like a lot. Tails, he's kind of like I don't want to say like a broken version of Sonic's story, but it's kind of like the what if it was Tails the hero, and you know he's got flying, and you can break the heck out of his flying. Like he's so incredibly fast, you can like skip half the stages that he goes through. It's very funny.
I do like
Yeah.
that they actually almost incentivize you to not like. All of Tales of stages are a race.
Yeah,
So like, even though you have all the option to go everywhere, it still kind of wants you to like push you forward. You just can't just like flap about
yeah,
for the whole like 10 minutes. You're still go. But because you can fly, you can find all these cool shortcuts
Yeah.
or like little like breaks in the stage you couldn't before. And
yeah.
get there by the time the character's still just halfway through, and you're like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
awesome.
got that cool rubber band physics where like if you go way too freaking fast into the level, it'll like speed up like the character you're racing, and like you just see them zoom across the map because like the game doesn't intend you to be that fast. I think that's kind of funny. But yeah, they have like the rings that like Tails will fly through. That's kind of their way of like saying like, here's a boost and we're guiding you, but you really don't have to go off that guide, in my opinion. I think it's kind of fun to break off that path and kind of test the game's like limitations. There are like invisible like wall areas that, like if you kind of dip too far out, it'll consider you like out of bounds and it'll knock a life off you.
Yeah.
Knuckles, he's
Man.
got his first treasure hunting gig in this game.
I have to say, getting the alerts for all of the emeralds in Adventure 1, I find way better than in Adventure 2.
Yes, I was.
Going back is sometimes kind of a culture shock. You're like, why?
Right.
Why the third one was there the whole time. I could have got it.
Exactly. Like I will say that's a fun part about Adventure 2 is like because the radar is limited, you always have to go for like each emerald piece in order. And sometimes if you're lucky, you'll actually find it without the radar, and that's kind of like a neat treat in itself. But the original Sonic Adventure, no matter all 3 emerald shards, you can find them at any point in time. I feel like that was better. It kind of makes it faster, but I think it's a little bit better. And yeah, it was such a big deal because like at that point they were kind of establishing that like Knuckles was a treasure hunter. Where up to that point, like what he was just like he was quote unquote the bad guy who went up against Sonic because Robotnik or Eggman tricked him. But then at that point going forward, he was protector of the Master Emerald. He went after the shards. He would hunt for keys in Sonic Adventure 2. But like Adventure is where they established more character for Knuckles, and that's kind of a big deal. And people,
I think that may be well, it's just my headcanon, but like he'd spend all of his time in ruins, like guarding the emeralds and stuff.
Yeah.
That maybe chasing Sonic around made him actually appreciate like all the exploring that comes with it, and so he became kind of a fan of treasure hunting.
Yeah.
At least in my head, that's how I.
Yeah, because like he's guarding the Master Emerald. He's probably bored to death, and he's got so many questions. Like, why do I have to be the guy who does this? He has a lot of life questions. But when he gets to treasure hunt, it's almost like a bit of a sick kick for him. Like it's like this is my thing in a way. Like he doesn't want the Master Emerald charge to spread, but when he can treasure hunt, he's kind of like, ooh, that's kind of. I feel like no matter if I lose the Master Emerald pieces or not, like I got this. Like he's always going to protect it. I think that's cool.
Yeah, no, Adventure did a really good job of kind of like cementing the characters' personalities like very well, and they've kind of stuck with that ever since.
Yeah.
Sonic X, the show, takes like a good spin off of like the adventure kind of style.
Yeah.
Including even the game story, like inside of it, like it's got the whole chaos thing.
Oh yeah, it's got like Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 are solidified in Sonic X as like arcs and whatnot. Not trying to make a pun, but yeah, it's a part of the I want to say the second season of Sonic X. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, having my favorite game in anime form is kind of neat. Minus like if you like 4Kids. Like in the dub and whatnot, I personally do. I do like it. I think there's like a cheesy charm to it. But like even if you just watch it in like the with subtitles and with the Japanese voice acting, it's really really good. In the music.
They just recently came out with the box set for the Japanese version.
Yes.
It's done by what's the name of the company? Not Shout. It's they're doing a whole bunch of like the older shows.
Yeah,
like
because I own the English Blu-ray.
Discotheque.
Yeah.
Discotheque is
I own the Blu-ray for the English one, but now they're coming out with the Japanese one. I'm like, oh, I gotta have that. It's so cool.
Of course, they make you buy them separately.
Yeah, of course. Of course, it's gotta be separate and not a feature. But it's a small price to pay for something that cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to the characters. So Amy Rose, she gets a different design. She's the only character who, like, I know like Sonic gets green eyes and everybody else gets like a little bit of like changes, but Amy has like a completely different outfit. Her hairstyle changes. Her gameplay it's different. It's fun, but my only issue with it is that it's a little slow. To get her to like go faster, get a bit of momentum. She's a bit of a heavier character, and I think it's because they introduced the hammer aspect. It's fun, but it's a little slower.
I was gonna say I always have to do kind of like a jump to kind of like get the momentum going, because just like rolling on the ground itself is. But if you get that momentum,
exactly,
that running speed, guess what? You do that hammer jump and boom.
Yeah.
What's that shortcut? What's that?
Yeah.
You jumped up really high. Yeah.
Exactly.
I never land the cool stuff, but sometimes I'm like, man, if I could land this, it would be really.
Every now and then,
I'd be such a cool ham.
Yeah. Just constantly using that hammer to your advantage. I imagine in my head like you're like, oh, like you're at like the tail end of like, what is it, Twinkle Park, and you're like walking up the hill, and that part kills me because like I love speed, and she's just like really trying, and there's those spike balls, and that guy's chasing after you, which can create for an intensity, but like once you've played the game like a couple of times, you're like, come on, move, Amy. So I don't know, that part always bugged me a little bit, but I still love it. Let's see the other character, Gamma. Gamma's gameplay is very interesting.
Gamma's pew 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 pew
pew. He's one of the 2 characters out of like the whole 6 that are completely new for this game. Gamma's got like the kind of like shooting. I don't know what you would call it. I don't want to call it like a shooter segment because people are gonna think it's like first person or something. Not even third person. You're just kind of like a top down view of them, but it's kind of like like aim for the targets and pew pew.
It's almost like a walking rail shooter.
Yeah,
almost.
There's a bit of a I'll probably touch upon it a little bit later, but like Gamma's story is definitely one of the best in my opinion.
So good.
He's got a very good story, and like I feel like I appreciate it more now than I did when I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, it was like robot goes pew pew, things are happening. But like as an adult, it's like there's a lot of like feeling to Gamma's story, and I feel like I appreciate it a lot more now than I did when the game came out.
Well, it's also the first time that really kind of like, not humanifies, but kind of like really like brings to attention.
Yeah.
Hey, the animals that are in these machines, like they are like, like they may not be like walking, talking like anthropomorphic,
Right.
like Mobians and stuff, but they've got their own like families and feelings and stuff that they want to do. And,
Yeah.
and that shit's going on like inside like all of them. And
On a side note, screw you, Sonic Team, for putting the design of Gamma in Adventure 2 as like little enemies you could fight. I believe at Pyramid Cave. That throws off my feng shui every time because I'm like, I love this character. I'm just like, he's like dog meat to me when I walk in there because like you just hit him once, doink, little animal pops up and he's done. There's several of them. Like you can't do that. And I believe he's in Sonic Battle. Or something like that. Something like that. I'll be honest, I'm not like the most familiar with that game. I remember playing it.
I'm not either,
but
actually.
I think they have like maybe the robot design in the game. I don't think it's him, but I think it's like the designs in that game. And once again, you're messing with me, Sonic Team, which that may have not been Sonic Team. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if there are like E-series like bots in battle.
Yeah. Kind of just like the design of the E10 series.
Yeah.
So. And then there's Big the Cat. I like his gameplay. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, yeah, no,
I'm a little biased, everyone. I love this game, so I'm used to his gameplay. But I can understand why somebody wouldn't like his gameplay. I could completely understand it.
Now, when it comes to adventure, it's also the first one that has, well, not the first one that has like the exclusive like Ultimate Dynamics Supersonic finale, because it is in like Sonic 3 and Knuckles, like if you get all the emeralds. But this is the first one that like locks off Supersonic till the super very end.
Oh wow.
Oh, hello, thank you for the gift sub, Fab.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Congrats to the people who got a gift sub.
Yeah, but it started the trend of the super anime climatic. Here's the new theme, awesome boss fight jam. When you first experienced it, like how mind blown were you?
Oh man. So talking about a bit of it earlier, like once again, I didn't get to beat Big Story as a kid, so I was kind of locked off from the Supersonic part until I was like 11 or 12. So my first experience with Supersonic, like ever, because I was so young at the time, was Supersonic in Sonic Adventure 2. So like when he goes gold, and I was like, I had to be like 7 or so at the time. I went, oh my god, he's gold! Like I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And, I catch up on the history later. I make up for it, and I understand it better later. But anyways, shooting forward to when I got Sonic Adventure back when I was like 12 or 13, I ended up buying like a new copy when Dreamcast was kind of out of the market, so I got it for cheap. I end up, going through the stories, beat Big Story, go to Supersonic versus Perfect Chaos. I feel like my favorite part of it, and I don't know if it's a bit of a cop-out answer, because the fight's good, it's fun, it can be a little sloppy at times depending on if he hits you, because then it gets weird. But
like you can lose all of the momentum about it. You can get him down to like one peg left, and then he'll just like wreck you.
Yeah, like if he hits you
at some point, I feel like I've lost control.
Yeah, like if he hits you and you're super close to him, you might as well just give in and try to go back around and try it again. It's funny because I was complimenting Sonic's momentum, how it could be like, ooh, all sorts of speeds. But that's probably where it gets weird is when he's Supersonic, because if he hits you, you kind of have like this really weird like slowdown, like he's like trying to collect himself, like, whoa, I gotta try that again. So
not getting that back.
But like my favorite part of the Perfect Chaos fight, that I think I love more now, like I'm talking about like the last year or two, more than ever, is the song "Open Your Heart." And I know, like, yeah, it's a cop-out answer, but when you listen to when you listen and like read the lyrics, it's a battle of good versus evil. It's the lyrics literally say, they got their own styles and they won't change. Yours is filled with evil and mine's not. He's not gonna lose. Like that's Sonic. Like I'm coming for you. Like he's gonna beat this guy, and he does. And a little bit of a spoiler, everybody. You know, when Sonic beats Chaos, like because before the fight, Tikal just wants to kind of like trap Chaos back in the Master Emerald. Be like, let's just close him off.
Let's do it again.
And just
do it again.
Just seal it for now. And Sonic's like, that just delays the inevitable. He can come back, and this doesn't fix anything. And she's like, what do we do? So then all of Sonic friends come together, gives him the emeralds. He fights Perfect Chaos. I don't know if like the Chaos energy just kind of like puts him back into like his normal state, but like Chaos like simmers down and is like, I'm gonna be a good guy, and just kind of like he just chilled. All the Chow there, and Tikal's like, all right, let's go. I guess they go to heaven or something. I don't know what's going on. But it's a battle of good versus evil, and Sonic's like, I'm not losing this. He beats it, and fix the day. Like they could have just copped out and said, throw him in the Master Emerald. That's not our problem. But that's just not how Sonic goes about things. That's what he's about. Let's go for this and finish this. And in the lyrics of Open Your Heart, I feel like they just hit home amazingly. Johnny Joeli of Crash 40 and Jutsuno, oh my god, they're absolute legends. I have the honor of meeting both of them. I actually got to have a talk with Johnny one time at a convention. Like we just talked one-on-one. Nobody was nearby. I just caught him. I was like, oh hey, and we just talked. And I said you're what you did for the music and everything in the game. It's why I am who I am and where I am today. And he's like, dude, if my power of music can get you to where you are today, that's awesome. And like I wanted to cry when he told me that. I was like, oh my god.
Aww,
he's just like the nicest guy ever.
It.
Like he was like he was in the middle of like eye dropping his eyes and everything. Like he's getting ready for a show, but I just ran into him and I was like, hey, I was like, I'm just gonna say hi. But I it wasn't in the state I lived in, so I was like, I'm just gonna say hi. He's right here. I gotta say hi. So like, I had him, and then one time I met Jun Sonoe in New York. Nobody noticed he was there, so I would walk up to him, and I'm like, I had my Dreamcast in my backpack, and I pulled it out, and I went, "Can you sign this?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And when I did that, a whole crowd surrounded him, and I got out of there. Went, I am so sorry, I got a crowd on you.
It's so weird because like he's got a face that's pretty easy to recognize, but I guess unless you're looking for him, it's the hair.
I saw his hair wave right, like maybe like 6 inches away from me. I was like, I know that hair. It's you. So like I like ran up to him and I was like, hey man. And he was a nice dude. They're incredible people. But like their music, holy crap. And during that Perfect Chaos fight, that for me is my favorite part, just the song, more than anything.
No, it's a good song. I feel that way about Sonic Heroes and what I'm made of.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I get like just like so pumped into that.
Heck yeah.
So if you're looking on the stream, I gotta ask, what is your opinion on Stage 3 of this game?
Stage 3? Let's see. So it goes Emerald Coast, then it goes Windy Valley, then it goes... Come on, Brain. You got this. I've had a long day, everybody. For the record, I've been up a very long time, so give me a second. Actually, you can go ahead and tell me whatever it is.
Casino!
Okay, yeah, Casinopolis. Casinopolis. I love Casinopolis. I usually don't win at the pinball immediately. If like
never, I can never do good at the pinball.
Okay. So the thing about that, though, it being my favorite game, so if I'm playing the story mode, I'm just trying to get from point A to point B, I will fail at the pinball immediately on purpose because it sends you to the sewers and you get a bunch of rings that way. I usually hang out there, collect enough rings to get what I need, get out of there, and I can progress the story. But if I'm hanging around there, oh my god, I'll never, like, it does not happen often. I usually hang out in the pinball maybe like maximum 10 to 15 minutes if I'm feeling like up to it. Usually I like playing the Knights pinball machine because shout out to the Knights in the Dreams and the Knights franchise in general. Love Knights. There's a Knights pinball machine and I'll hang out like 10-15 minutes in there. There's like cards you can hit up and get combos. But I'll never forget the one session I had where I stayed in that pinball machine, I think an hour and a half. I couldn't even leave because I was just there forever and I was just going at it. And boy, I'll never beat that record ever again because that was, I don't know how I hung in there that long. Because you only get, I don't think you get extra like turns. I think like once you run out, you run out.
Yeah, it's only 3 balls.
I personally like it. So I'm taking a shower too.
Yes, that is okay. I was just recording the footage for this and I just had like such like, I had the zero luck ones where it's like All right, I'm gonna go and hit the thing, and the ball bounces right under the flipper.
Oh
Well, let me
no.
try. Let me switch the tilt a little bit, and it automatically just rolls right into the side thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my
It
god!
gets mean.
Of
It gets
course.
mean. Pinball's a one-way or a two-way street for me nowadays. Like any pinball machine. I'm either really into it, I'm like, wow, I keep going, or I get that luck where it all shifts to the side. I'm like, wait, I didn't get a chance, and then you just kind of walk away from the machine like, never mind.
Exactly. Oh man. So, which is your favorite of the stories?
Favorite of the stories. So
Yeah.
I have a bit of a two-parter answer to this, but it may be a bit obvious. Mr. Zonic here likes Sonic the Hedgehog. I feel like,
Say
yeah,
what?
it's a bit of a whoa, shocker. Sonic's story really resonated to me as a kid, obviously, and he has the meteor part of the game. He's the main character, so they give him like the longest story out of all of them.
Yeah.
So he's got more to him. He's got like I think he's the only character with like all the stages. Some of the other characters only get like some of them and not all of them. Minus Sonic, I think he might not go to like a few stages that some of the characters go to. It just depends. But anyways, so Sonic's story is, hit home the most for me. The part I'll never forget as a kid, because as a kid, I think I'd played, I'd played so many games at that point, but I didn't really like beat games when I was like 4 or 5. Like typically it'd be like me and my brother shared it, and he'd beat the game because I was so young I couldn't like beat final bosses.
Yeah.
So like I remember when we would play like Banjo-Kazooie, we would share that file, but then like he'd be the one to like beat the game. So when I was playing, I remember when I played Sonic Adventure one day, and you're going up against, I believe, the Egg Viper at the end of Sonic's story. Such intense music.
Oh
Such
yeah.
intense music plays. I was like 5, so he kicked my butt like a million times. And then, but I was so stubborn, and I finally beat him. They start playing like the song "It Doesn't Matter," and I got up, and I was like, "Oh my god, I love this video game!" And I literally like ran to like my parents, and like my grandparents were across the street, so I like go across the street. I'm like, go to them, and I'm like, "I love this game," and I'm like, I love Sonic." Like I just had to like get it off my chest how much I loved it. And
Aw.
but that moment solidified for me. I love video games and I love Sonic. And if it wasn't for that moment, I wouldn't be here today. So it was like that
Aw.
was such a big part for me as a kid. But on my side note, Gamma. I'm gonna say Gamma's.
Yeah.
I know this wasn't the question, but like my second answer would have been Gamma because it's a robot that will make you feel emotional. The gameplay's good. It's pretty straightforward. It's got a very interesting curve to it. It's time limited. Most of the characters you just go from point A to point B, and you rarely will run out of time. With Gamma, you'll have like 3 minutes of a stage. You have to get like combos and keep your way into the level until you can go like defeat some of the bosses and whatnot. So I will say Gamma is my second choice. Like outside of Sonic, my obvious choice, E102 Gamma is a really good pick.
Oh no, for sure, most definitely. Uh, yeah. Usually, yeah. Sonic always kind of gets like the main things. I don't think it was until Sonic 06.
Yeah, I was gonna say 06,
I guess
06 I'm
technically,
throwing Sonic to the side. It's about Shadow and Silver at that point because I can't stand Sonic's story in 06. I'm one of the very, very rare people who like 06.
Oh no, I love 06
But
too. But I was gonna say is I think that was one of the ones where like
yeah,
all three of the characters kind of have like all the same number of stages. At
yeah,
least.
yeah.
But then I was like, oh wait, I guess Heroes technically does too. But I mean,
Right.
that's something different in of
That's
itself.
I love Heroes, but Heroes, the only thing I don't like about Heroes is that you have to go through everything like 4 times, and it just changes, depending on which team you pick. I love it, but it's a little repetitive. And Shadow the Hedgehog also does that game. It's fun, but if you want the true ending, it's like, holy crap, how many sessions are you going through?
All of them.
Yeah.
Blazing 06, yes, Carbueta. That deserves a good hada.
Yes,
Hada,
please.
hada.
One, love Blaze the Cat. 2, her gameplay in that game is actually really fun.
Yeah,
cool.
I wish Blaze would like be in more. Like luckily they put her in the comics a lot.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I get to get more Blaze there, but
Hopefully she returns to some like gameplay eventually. Like I feel like they're gonna start leaning into that going into the future of things, but we'll see.
yeah, especially with Ian Flynn writing the games going
Yeah.
forward. I think he mentions like in some of the subtext like Tangle and Blaze for some things. So
I think they're leading up to something like that soon. And also, I'm sure we'll talk about this later, but like the Sonic Frontiers update that's coming out, how you can like play as the other friends. I feel like that's like their way of going to test people out. Like, hey, how do you feel about this? And then they can go forward with that with whatever the next Sonic game is. That's just my guess, though.
it's definitely interesting to see. I mean,
Yeah.
as far as like Sonic games go, there's never really been like a consistent like. The next game like improves on the next one with the same engine. It's almost like, oh nope, change it up completely every time.
Sonic Lost World.
Never fails. Oh, Lost World. Now that's my black sheep of the series.
That's fair. That's fair. Understandable.
But yeah, they don't really get to do much of the adventure stuff anymore. It makes me a little forlorn. Like I love Unleashed because it's the closest we get to like adventure.
Yeah. Yeah, some people like to consider, like, what is the true Sonic Adventure 3? Some people want a Sonic Adventure 3. Some people consider 06 Adventure 3, which I'm kind of one of those people, and I hate saying that. But it's only because they introduced Silver, and a lot of the gameplay is similar to what would have been a Sonic Adventure game. Some people consider Sonic Unleashed the third adventure because... I guess in Japan it's called World Adventure, and people like to take advantage of that title. So my comeback is always Sonic Rush Adventure. All right, so is that the fourth Sonic Adventure? And then we all get into an argument. We all get into an argument.
Yeah, call them out on that shit.
Sonic Colors, DS,
anything with an
3.
adventure. Okay, I'm kind of there with the colors as Rush 3.
Yeah, I can agree to that.
But I mean, I just call it like Rush Colors.
Yeah, it's basically like the third in that gameplay style. So. Yeah.
Sonic Boost Colors.
Sonic Colors with Boost.
Oh man. Would you prefer like another like hub 06-ish kind of thing? Going forward?
Would I prefer a hub? Oh, that's a good question. Because I know in Sonic Frontiers they had like the islands, which were basically hubs? Question mark.
They're hubs with like content.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to like. Because it's a huge hub with a lot to do, and the levels are kind of like I don't know what to call them, like the extra part, but they kind of are.
Frontiers is a hard game to kind of put down in my heart.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's a little different.
There's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a lot there, and definitely something I'd love to touch upon again someday. Yeah, no. I personally like. I love the Sonic Adventure one because I'm gonna be a little biased there. However, I love the Unleashed hub, how like you get to go to like different parts of the world and explore different territories. I would like going forward. I would like hubs. I'm okay with like more hubs. I don't know how it'd feel to get like a hub like we used to get given Sonic Frontiers. With how they're trying to implement like each island as like a hub. If you downsize it, you got to downsize it right. But I don't know.
Yeah,
we're at a weird point where like I'm not too sure where we'll go from there, but like I would like to see hubs stick around because I love hubs. It's not Mario 64 without Peach's Castle. Did I mention Mario 64 for the third time, everybody? Let me just tell you, I love Mario. What?
I can't say you have.
All right, enough of Sonic Adventure. Super Mario 64.
Super Mario 64 DS. All right, let's go.
All right, yeah, the DS port. Let's go. Let's talk the differences.
Oh man. Let's see. Good old Sonic. I already pretty much know the answer, but when it comes to this game, would you recommend it as a good like starting off point for people wanting to play Sonic?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Obviously, it being kind of like it's noticed especially on the internet for being like, haha, let's poke fun at it and whatnot. If you're truly interested in Sonic and you want to play some of the past games, or you just want more Sonic in your life, I would definitely say yes. It's fairly accessible nowadays. If you have
it's on Steam.
It's on Steam. I feel like if you have typically any computer between now and like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, it probably runs more than likely. You could, if you have one of those fancy Steam decks, you can play it on there. It's on modern day Xboxes. I can't really recommend it on PlayStation, given you have to do like the PlayStation Now. That's a streaming service. That's up to you at that point. But yeah, modern day Xboxes, any of them really, up from 360 up till now, and Steam, you can definitely buy Sonic Adventure DX. They have mods to where you can like mod it back to like Dreamcast look, or just like little enhancements here and there. I'm not saying like you have to have that to fix the game. It's still fun in its own right, but if you like,
does it have the Hatsune Miku mod?
I think so.
Yeah,
I know that's in Adventure 2. Adventure 2 is easier to mod than Adventure, from what I've been told, which is why you probably will see a lot more Adventure 2 mods.
I'm enjoying seeing all the 06 mods.
Yeah,
the slow build of like people just converting that game to the PC.
Yeah,
since they never got one.
That's so cool. But yeah,
Sonic fans will find a way. Damn it! Don't challenge us.
Yeah, they will find a way. And then there's Generations. True. Yeah, no, I would recommend this game. It's cheap. Typically it's like what? I think it's like $5 or $10. Usually I think it's like 10, but it's constantly going on sale. You can get it for $5 if not cheaper. On like once again Steam or whatever. I'd recommend the PC version. It's pretty straightforward. If you want to go out of your way and get the Dreamcast copy or even a GameCube copy, I don't think the Dreamcast one is too terrible, but I can't vouch for GameCube. I want to say probably not as bad as like another like Nintendo GameCube game or something, but they are kind of going up
Yeah,
in price.
that's a
if you
thing.
want convenience, there is a modern way of playing it. And I would also recommend, you don't have to play the classics to enjoy Sonic Adventure. Like you don't have to play like Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles. You can kind of jump in if you want. But if you want like the true like jump into 3D and get like a gist for like what was that time period like, I would recommend playing like Sonic 1, CD 2, 3, and Knuckles. And yes, I said it in that order to bug people. I know there's a lot of controversy.
2,
like,
3, CD, and Knuckles.
I think it goes like Sonic 1, CD 2, 3, and Knuckles because they tried establishing that in Sonic Origins recently. Because technically,
okay.
Sonic
actually
first.
missed out on Origins.
Oh, okay, yeah. They were trying to like it was like a weird like retcon thing where like they were trying to like what came first, and it was like at one point when Sonic 4 Episode 1 and 2 were coming out, they played it off. It was like Sonic 1. I think it was CD, and then when you played the modern day version of CD, Tails would be at the end of it saying like, "Hey, see you next game," and then that was their way of saying it goes Sonic 1, CD 2, and then 3 and Knuckles. And I think they're trying to establish that nowadays. So I know it bugs people, but it's what it is. So technically, Sonic met Amy first before meeting Tails.
I always liked the way they did it in like the comics. Whenever they like would go back to the origin, it's like the reason you don't see Tails or the Seventh Chaos Emerald is because Eggman had them both.
Yeah. I like that. Definitely.
And then boom.
Yeah, it's definitely a game I would recommend. It's not gonna like break the bank or anything typically, and if for any reason you don't like it, I'm sure you'll figure that out sooner than later. So you can always just put it down. But I would say if you give it a proper chance to play it through and through, I think you'll have a fun time. There'll be parts of it that you like, and I think it's charming that it's like kind of a time period piece.
Yeah, no, most definitely, and it was like it was like the starting point for. I guess it's not really cool to call it the modern era of Sonic anymore since it's like over 20 years old. But the 3D era, what would we call it? The story era, the adventure era.
I remember at one point with Sonic Generations they tried branching it off as like the classic era, the Dreamcast era, and then the modern era.
Okay.
Some people like to just kind of look at Sonic Adventure going forward as the modern era. But yeah, I feel
like we're so past that now though. Like I feel like after Generations, like we hit like a new point, kind of like how Japan has like its Heisei era and Seiwa era.
I think they're trying to call that.
I feel like there's a third era of Sonic that happened either like after Generations, it's like or like at Colors. I don't know, just personally, I just feel like that.
I think they were trying to pass it off as like Legacy Sonic was a name that they came up with. Was like, oh, it's like Classic Sonic. I think it was a Classic Sonic, Modern Sonic, and Legacy Sonic is what they're trying to call it now, or something like that. I don't know. They've tried coming up with ways of saying it. What's funny is like people really freaked out at one point, like, oh, Sonic's got green eyes. I like the classic look. Oh, Classic Sonic's better. Classic Sonic was around for, I believe, if you count 1998 being Sonic Adventure when it came out in Japan, Classic Sonic was around for about 7 to 8ish years. We've had the Sonic we have now for way longer. Like that's the Sonic now. So no,
there's no arguing with some people. Yeah. Like, look, everyone, I love Fat Pikachu too.
Fat Pikachu's awesome.
But I'm not gonna hate Skinny Pikachu.
Yeah, Pikachu is Pikachu. Dang it! But we love Fat Pikachu.
And the only thing I will probably like disagree with is Hamtaro. Whenever they get to season 4 and they get like the big heads and the tiny bodies, at that point I'm like, no, we'll go back. We'll go back.
It's the American Dragon Jake Long debate again.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, where it goes from the first.
There's no winning. The fandom will always find something to nitpick at.
True.
And for those that are saying that the story and the talking is weird for Sonic Adventure, shut up. Y'all people like Resident Evil.
True.
Y'all know Jill sandwiches and
and give me your egg and shoot.
And,
I feel like I'm
what
missing...
a mansion.
Yeah, what a mansion and I'm trying to remember the one for Resident Evil 4.
Bingo.
there was a few in Resident Evil 4 that were also good.
Oh man, I'm excited.
I would like to say so.
Ancient Gaming, sue you. I will never sue anyone that likes Ancient Gaming.
Fair.
Like, Sonic 2 is my favorite Sonic, so I mean, do that with everyone will.
I was gonna say that.
Cancel me. Do it.
Try it. We'll bring you down. I was gonna say really quickly while you brought up Hamtaro. On a side note, I really love your model.
Thank you.
You've got a really cool model. I've been I don't know how long I've been following your Twitter and your Twitch for a while now, but like I just like on the side, I always look at your model. I'm like, that's so fun. Like, you know,
I always kind of like get surprised by the people that are just like, oh, I know that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, you do?
like a Hamtaro character. Like I love Hamtaro. It's such a cute, fun show.
I'll go into like someone's stream, like someone new, and they'll go, "Oh, you're the hamster guy." Yeah. I'm like, I am the hamster guy.
Oh, that's good.
Oh,
that's
man.
good.
Well, let us take some questions from the audience.
Yeah.
Audience, I know y'all are bursting to the seams with Sonic questions. So please give us all of your non-Rule 34 Sonic questions here now, so we may answer them.
Give us your appropriately stated Sonic question.
Give us your born-again Christian Sonic OC character question.
One that won't get you booted from the Minecraft server we're hosting.
Can that even work out that way?
We can try. An effort shall be made.
We never stop to ask, should we? Only could we?
That's a good question.
I'll buy it at a high price. You gotta get those fishes.
I'd buy that for $1.
When do we get inventory in Sonic games so I can have just like 9 eggs?
Yeah. A whole bunch of eggs.
Let's see. Is there any kind of a style that like Sonic hasn't done? Let's see. He's done sports games with tennis. He's done racing.
He's had a shot at an RPG once, and
he did Sonic Chronicles. Let's see.
What was that?
There's the fighters.
I would love to see another.
So he's been in a fighting game.
There's a fighting. He's not
board game that's been done.
He's not had a first-person shooter game. Like, yes, there's a shooting game, but I think that's considered action. Like action adventure or something like that. Like it's not a shooter game, so technically speaking.
Oh, let's get a Whisper first-person shooter. That'd be fun.
I would pay very good money for that. Definitely.
You get the little wisp guns.
Yes,
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, but no, Sonic has pretty much gone the distance. He's even like did the Olympics with Mario.
Oh yeah, I mean shoot, he's done so many things, and I will give Sonic Team and Sega this, minus any mistakes or things that they may regret or tried. They tried a lot of different things with Sonic. Whereas with Mario, even though, yes, it's the successful franchise, Nintendo's big, so forth, they kind of play it safe most of the time. I'm not going to say all the time, because they've been trying to be a bit more out there and whoa. But Sonic has tried so many different things, and I think that's what I like about Sonic more than Mario. Like, I like Mario and Sonic. They're pretty much equal to me. But the thing I like about Sonic is that, like, I feel like there's something for everybody when it comes to Sonic. There's something that you will probably like out of Sonic in some way, shape, or form. Whereas with Mario, most people I know who don't like Mario, it's just straightforward. It's just not their thing because it's kind of all...
some people don't like platformers.
Right. And yes, they have
that's okay.
But...
it's just not their jam.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's just not their style either. Maybe, like, Sonic has, like, the intricate stories and voice acting, whereas Mario... as cool as that is, usually it's just like a lot of let's go and here we go, and like they want more something deeper, and Sonic kind of provides that a lot. There's like feeling and whatnot.
Oh, I just realized what he doesn't have. He doesn't have a rhythm game.
Yeah. Oh man.
Now I'm not saying that Sonic needs a DDR like Mario got, but what if we had like a theater rhythm for Sonic?
Oh, I'd give anything for that. We do have a new Samba de Amigo coming out. My fingers are crossed that they might throw him back in again.
There's probably going to be like 1 or 2 Sonic games.
Yeah.
Or Sonic songs in it.
I'm hoping.
Man, the fact that there's another Samba de Amigo game blows my mind.
Yeah, shoutouts to Samba de Amigo and the people who...
for coming back to life when Ooh La La doesn't get to.
We've had that. We've had like, House of the Dead. There's like one other Sega IP that I forgot came back. There's been a couple of them coming back, so I
guess technically Shenmue came back, but not to the fanfare that people wanted.
Right. There was one more. I think Choo Choo Rocket came back, but it was like Apple Arcade or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a weird mobile
but like
only.
they're kind of coming back, so like I'd like to maybe see like I know a lot of people have been fighting for like a Jet Set Radio. I would like to see Knights come back. Knights was like the big thing that they were trying to sell on the Saturn because Sonic couldn't have a 3D game. We could tie that into this conversation because he didn't really.
Oh yeah, no, we totally
He didn't
can.
have a
Like you
problem.
were saying
Yeah,
how
he didn't have a problem.
people need to like if they just practice more, they can get past like all the glitch stuff.
Yeah,
Like I'd say like pretty much all of Yuji Naka's games, whether it's Sonic, Knights, Rodea, or even like Billy Hatcher.
yeah.
Like the best part about those games is when you play them so much that you gain like an internal mastery, then you get to have like the most fun with them.
Right, and like I know some people
Uh,
don't like to say like, oh, games shouldn't have to be good because you have to get better at it. Like I get that, you can have fun with the game if you're not good at it, but I feel like if you start to master those games, there's extra fun factor in that. I feel like that goes for a lot of video games I know, but like I feel like specifically with like Sonic Adventure and whatnot, give it some time, get used to it. You might even find more fun out of it than you realize you were going into. Like you'll find some like tricks and little shortcuts, and that's the fun of Sonic. Until this day, Sonic still has glitches. Frontiers, as great of a game as that is, there's some weird stuff that happens, but it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to see, how gamers will like break it, and heck, even
now
speedrunners.
watch a Forces speed run and just
Yeah,
watch.
yeah,
Well, watch people like, okay, I'm going to use this boost. I'm going to go left. And then the stage loops all the way around back to the left of this part where I boosted. I'm going to catch a rail.
yeah.
And I'm like, how did you find this out?
Yeah, exactly. Like, is it by accident? Did you just mess with the stage for as long as you could and found this? Like, people are so dedicated to that scene, and it's super cool to watch. I love a good Sonic speedrun. I just like a good speedrun in general.
It is. I have to say, like, there are a few times I've like died going too fast in like Sonic 2.
Oh yeah,
Super
yeah,
Sonic.
yeah.
You could just go past the point where the game is just like you're
free.
here, and then it's like I don't know where you're at anymore,
Yeah.
so you must be dead.
I think that was a kind of a cool aspect of that game, especially if you play like the 4x3 format. Because I know with like Sonic Origins and such nowadays, it's harder to push Sonic off screen because it was originally 4x3. But back in the day, if you had a 4x3 screen, and you're playing Sonic 2 and you're going super fast, your character's so off screen. Kids would be going crazy, like, "Oh my god, he's so fast! Where'd he go?" Like, that's just fun,
Where's Mania 2? Darn it.
I'm hoping for either like another Mania 2 type game. There's been talks of a possible Sonic Rush style game coming back. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Yeah, I know quite a few friends who want Sonic Riders to come back. If you're gonna do that, you definitely need to go back to the way it went and how it worked. But I don't know if they cared.
Don't get the Sonic team racing team on it because that game disappointed me so badly.
It needed more love. It wasn't terrible.
You can't play multiplayer online. It's a game that's all about playing with your friends.
Yeah, it's so the online is not as great. Straight up, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform just way the better game.
Oh, the best one.
I even like the original for various reasons. I actually
it's good too, but
too long
the second one has like the whole Diddy Kong thing where it's like aircraft and now hover or Hydro Thunder thing.
Yeah, it was like the boat or whatever you would want to call it.
Yeah,
it really did.
And they get the Burning Ranger stage.
It took what Diddy Kong Racing had and like it was all at once depending on the course. So yeah, no, that's probably why I like it. A little bit of a side note, everybody. I love Diddy Kong Racing as well. It's funny. Sonic Adventure is my favorite game, and it's for the Dreamcast. But the N64 is my favorite classic console. So I'm a little.
N64 is great. It's 64 for fucking ever.
64, holy heck, I love the 64. I
like to think that even though Sega never could make a Sonic for the Saturn, like if given the opportunity, they probably could have made one for the 64.
Oh yeah. That'd be
I don't know what it would have become, but you know what? It would have been something awesome.
In another universe.
All right. Well, looks like no questions in the chat, but that's okay because we had a good old time here.
Yeah. Super fun time.
Zonic, please go ahead and plug what you'll be doing on your channel coming up.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. Sure. So a little bit of a rundown. I don't have my stream schedule solidified as of right. Are we talking like stream schedule for next week or something?
I mean, just what you doing?
Oh, what I'm doing? Okay.
What's going on?
Yeah. So currently we're doing at least in terms of like a series, we're doing Super Mario Odyssey. We already beat the story of that game, and we're kind of doing some of the post game stuff. I've got multiple collabs a couple collabs that I'm doing next week that are going to be super fun. I've been getting ready and storing up a lot of really cool things for my 2-year anniversary of being a VTuber. It is like big, like really big drops. Like I think I have like as of right now, I want to say like 6 or 7 different things to drop that are like absolutely like I'm like through the roof to the moon, over the moon for what I've got in store, and it it deals with like models and other such. I won't elaborate too much because it's a bit of a spoiler, but like I'm gonna have like a full on like direct on my YouTube channel that people can like watch like 20 minutes of like announcements that I have, and it's gonna be really cool.
Yo, sick.
So yeah.
Well, there you go. Make sure to follow. Let me get this going here.
Oh, for the record, everybody, I'm a multi gamer kind of guy. What's that called? I can't think. Variety streamer.
Variety.
That's it. It's
yeah. It is variety.
Variety streamer. So yeah, I'm a variety streamer. I play typically just about anything. One day I could be playing like Mario Sunshine. The next day I could be doing a Left 4 Dead 2 collab. After that I could be doing Hot Shots Golf. Or the next day after I could be playing a racing game like Diddy Kong Racing. I play just about anything typically.
Oh, if they're regulars on my channel, they're used to this kind of thing. So don't worry.
I think that's another thing I admired of you was like you have that same kind of like you can go to like all sorts of different games and you get variety. I like a person with variety. That's good.
My friend is like, how do you like not like forget controllers? I'm like, it's all ingrained in my DNA. I can't tell you how it works. It's just like, just give me a controller and I'll just adapt right away.
Yeah.
Like, let's go.
Oh, and
I don't have time. Don't have time to relearn it.
I suppose on a side note, in about an hour, me and some friends are going to be doing covering the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Wave 4 DLC. It just dropped the other day. Nice. So that'll be fun. Love a good kart racer.
Everyone, go follow and give that a watch. Later tonight, we'll be finishing up. I'm not sure. Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest.
Ooh, nice pick.
That'll be later, so be sure to check that out. And yeah, next week's schedule will be up probably tomorrow or Sunday. And yeah, look forward to more stuff.
Heck yeah! If I may make a side note, would you like to know an interesting fun fact about me?
Yes. Go.
November 20th of 1995. Donkey Kong Country 2 released. It was also the day I was born. So when you look at a copy of that game, that's how old I am.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun. I love that game.
That's
a bit.
cool.
It's cool.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, I would love to have anyone, watch and whatnot. Definitely. You guys are awesome.
Well, let's do a quick little raid before we go. Let's drop in on Agent Toad, who looks like he's celebrating some Mario Day. So
sure.
Let's go in there and tell him about this game we've never heard of called Mario 64.
Sure.
Maybe he'll have heard of it. I'm not sure. Sounds crazy. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. I hope to see you all later. And next week, there'll be another 2 Yo You Like That. So be sure to check in. And everyone, have fun. Bye, Q.
Bye.